George, you're buzzing again. What a surprise. Maybe the cicadas are out at your house, George.
Just at George's house.
The best I can do, Denise.
Oh, that's worse.
Yeah. George, I'll let you get away with waving at us today instead of having to say words out loud. That's okay. So you can go on mute. Thank you, George.
They're not expected here until 2025.
Okay.
17-year cicadas are going to be 4 years late.
I couldn't get a ferry reservation.
There's multiple broods of 17-year cicadas because there's those. So it's not this brood that Nantucket is actually in.
Brian, you are a font of all knowledge, I'm telling you.
No, I'm a font of the ability to hit Google really fast.
Yeah, that's what I would have done
Peter
too.
Schaefer's
Probably
party.
made it up.
There's Stephen, and okay, I think Joe's not coming, and I think really everyone else is here. So I will open and go through the script for remotely conducted open meetings. We are now using Zoom webinar for meetings, which allows for public to participate in the meeting as an attendee. Attendees must register to participate. The registration link is unique to the meeting. The registration link can be found in the description of the Nantucket Government TV YouTube feed, live feed for the meeting. People registering to be an attendee must use their first and last names, otherwise they will not be allowed to participate in the discussion. Attendees will join in listening mode. They can click the raise hand button if they wish to speak. I will call on the people who've raised their hands in the order in which they were raised. YouTube chat's no longer enabled, and all questions should be directed through the chair. As a preliminary matter, this meeting's being recorded. Great, thank you. As a preliminary matter, this is Denise Cronow, Chair of the Nantucket Finance Committee. Permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative, and I'll start with Peter Schaefer.
Here.
Joanna Roche.
Here.
George Harrington.
Here.
You can honestly wave, George. I'll say here for George. Stephen Morey.
Here.
Jill Veith.
Here.
Chris Klowacki.
Here.
Good. And Joe's not coming. He told us already. Staff, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative, and I'll start in the order in which I see you. Ken Bogrand.
Present.
Brian Turbot.
In attendance.
Thank you. Rick Spears.
Here.
And I'm guessing that's Terry. Terry, you're there? Okay. Libby Gibson.
Here.
And thank you, NCTV, for your support. Okay. Good evening. This open meeting of the Finance Committee is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020, due to the state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, we have been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. Further, all members of public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order, which you can find posted with the agenda materials for this meeting, allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will feature public comment as previously noted. Blah, blah, blah. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and that all attendees are participating by video conference. Accordingly, please be aware that other folks may be able to see you and to take care not to screen share your computer. Anything that you broadcast may be captured by the recording. All supporting materials that have been provided members of this body are available on the town's website unless otherwise noted. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda. We are now turning to the first item on the agenda, and before we do so, permit me to cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. I will introduce each speaker on the agenda. After they conclude, I will invite the members of FinCom to, if they want to provide any comment, questions. Please hold until your name is called. Remember to mute your phone or computer when you're not speaking. Please remember to speak clearly in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. And finally, any vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by a roll call vote. So I think that may be the last time I have to read that. Yay. Not that I don't have it down to a science by now. So may I please get approval of the agenda?
Motion to approve.
Thank you. And George, you seconded. I saw you waving your hand. Thank you. By roll call, Peter Schaefer,
Aye.
Joanna. Joanna's starting to wave like George. George, you're going to wave. Okay, good. Chris,
Aye.
Jill,
Aye.
Stephen.
Aye.
Thank you. Now I will open it up to public comments that are anything that are not public comment about the actual motions. So that we have in the, so what we're going to do tonight, folks, is, as we said, this meeting is for the public to ask us any questions about our motions, that our recommendations that we made regarding warrant articles. And so that will be coming up in a minute in our agenda. But before that, are there any other public comments that are not related to that? And if so, please raise your hand using the raise hand button. And I don't see any, so I will close the public comments. Okay, now the next item on the agenda is potential adoption of meeting minutes for March 15th, 18th, 23rd, 25, 29, 30, and April 12th. Does anyone have any comments or corrections that you have not yet sent to Rick about these minutes? And if not, may I have a motion to approve all the minutes in one fell swoop?
Motion to adopt.
Thank you. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. By roll call, so Peter Schaefer,
Aye.
Joanna,
Aye.
George. George raised his hand, aye. Chris,
Aye.
Jill,
Aye.
Stephen,
Aye.
Denise, aye. That passes unanimously. Thank you very much. Anyone have any committee reports that they want to raise their hand and chat about? No? Okay. So the point we're at now is the annual town meeting information session. So the point of this session, as I said before earlier, is if any member of the public would like to have a more, didn't see us when we deliberated and made our initial recommendation on the article, this is an opportunity for us to explain any motions that we've made in respect of warrant articles for the annual town meeting 2021. And so I would ask you to use the raise hand button, and then I will call on you. And Ken and Leslie are very kindly here with us. Oh, Leslie, I forgot to call your name before. I'm so sorry. Ken and Leslie are very helpfully here to discuss anything from the real estate or the planning perspective. Thank you both for being here. Okay, well, I have a piece of information while people are thinking up any questions they might have.
Madam Chair, Brooke Moore has her hand up.
Okay, thank you, Brian. I couldn't see her. Go ahead, Brooke.
I think Rick has to let her in.
Okay. Thank you, Brian.
I don't actually see her, to be honest with you. Oh, here we go. I got it. There we go.
Oh, yeah. Now I see it.
There we go. Thank you, Madam Chair. I have a question. Item 7 on the agenda, is that going to be, you seem to have moved to item 8. I was just curious about item 7.
We are on item 7 right now, Brooke. Annual town meeting information session.
Denise, you'll recall, you may be looking at an old, if I may, you may be looking at an older version of the agenda. We agreed to add the discussion and potential adoption of annual town meeting articles 38, 90, and 97.
Okay, I have then.
And take them up immediately after.
That's item 7.
That's item 7.
So I have the old agenda that I printed a week ago, being very efficient, getting it done early. That'll teach me. Okay, so Brooke, yes, well, in fact, that's what I was just going to talk about, is nobody had raised their hand. So what we are planning to do is after, at the annual town meeting, after Sarah calls all the articles, you know, one by one, and then people call if they want them discussed at the meeting. At that point, I am going to, after that's done, I'm going to make a motion that we take articles, and I have them written down just to make sure I don't get confused. that we're going to take Articles 24, 38, 97, and 90 out of order, taking them early. So that way people, as we're all sitting in a tent, are not sitting in a tent all day for the articles that will need full voter participation and discussion. So that was the intention of that, of item 7 on our agenda. Brian?
Madam Chair, I think we've internally determined that 24 is part of the financial articles that will be taken up prior to this, so it would only be 38, 90, and 97.
Okay. So yeah, and then we would also take the financial articles together if they are called or if they're not called. We're going to then make our motions on those right up front because of the nature of getting those sorted behind us.
Am I still unmuted?
Yes, you're still unmuted, Brooke.
May I ask a question?
Of course.
Thank you. I've seen it written different ways in different places, what the proposed order is. And I'm just curious whether it's 38 and 97 with 90 following or in numerical order.
The intention was to do 38 and 97 because they were both about funding affordable housing, and then do 90 after. That was the intention.
Okay, terrific. I've seen it spoken about and written in different ways, so I was just curious for clarification. Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Brooke. Okay. Any questions or comments from the Finance Committee in respect of that?
And the splash is after the splash we insert the splash.
And there is none. Okay. Brian, does anybody else have their hand raised, seeing as I don't seem to be able to see raised hands?
There's no one else with their hand raised, Madam Chair.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, I have another piece of information for the Finance Committee, which is on the day of the annual town meeting, there is actually enough room for everyone to sit at the table in the front. So we will have, instead of sitting, myself and Stephen in the front and all of you in the front row waving at us, you will be up there with us. So, yes, so we'll all be sitting together.
Very exciting, Denise.
I know, that was the highlight of this meeting so far. So,
Denise, do we have to vote on the moving those 3 articles forward?
we do not.
Okay.
So it's, I will be doing it, Denise as citizen Denise, not as chair of FinCom. So I'll be just, making the motion as a bystander, if you will.
Does that mean that any individual can make a motion to change the order of articles at any time for a town meeting?
Chris, I would say that
Yes.
must be true. And
Oh,
It is true, but it's at the discretion of the moderator, whether it makes sense or if you're just jockeying for position for one reason or another.
yeah, because that could turn into a circus going forward.
Well, we do have the tent, so we are prepared for whatever might come.
not my monkeys, not my circus. So. Nothing else? This will be a record in terms of, these will be the easiest minutes Terry will ever have to do for us. So, okay. With that, thank you all. I look forward to seeing you all in person on June 4th. It'll be great to see everyone there. Now, Brian and Rick, you will let us know if we need to have the 8:30 meeting on the Saturday morning, if there's any technical amendments. That's correct. You'll let us know ahead of time, because otherwise people will be there for 9 o'clock.
Madam Chair, we will. Hopefully, if there are any technical amendments, we'll have them completed prior to the meeting.
And so therefore we would do them a couple days in advance. Is that what you're saying, Brian? We would call it
At the meeting, most likely at the meeting on June 2nd or next week at one of the meetings.
At the moderators meeting on June 2nd.
Prior to that, correct, which is typically the way we've done it as well.
Yes, okay. But I also remember when we've also done them at the annual town meeting on the floor in the morning. So
We're working, because of the fact that there's no screen or anything, we're working very hard to have them done in advance to make sure we can distribute them as needed.
sure, that makes sense. Thank you, Brian. Rick?
So in the diary currently is a 1 o'clock meeting on the 2nd for technical amendments for FinCom. And then the 2 o'clock is a separate session is the pre-ATM with the moderator.
Okay. So did everybody get that? June 2nd, 1 o'clock? Oh, man, June 2nd.
And question, and then the next time we just go directly to the town meeting. There's no other meeting in between
Correct,
the 2nd and the 5th.
correct.
Okay.
Oh, so I'll get to read these one more time, this fascinating script. Excellent. Good. Anything else from anyone? No? In which case, guess what I need?
Motion
Motion
to
to
adjourn.
adjourn.
See, I remembered. It's a Christmas miracle. Peter, Schaefer,
Aye.
Joanna,
Aye.
George. George is waving goodbye. Chris,
Aye.
Jill,
Aye.
Stephen,
Aye.
as always, Rick, Leslie, and Ken, thank you for being here. Much appreciated. And Rick and Brian and Libby, thank you very much. Thanks a lot, everyone. And the meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.